Big story of the day, other than Championship Monday, as Darcy has coined it, today millions of Americans got to witness amazing history of a total solar eclipse, depending on where you were. Experts say the day would be North America's biggest eclipse crowd ever because the path of totality happened to fall over some densely populated cities like Cleveland, Ohio.
So what did people get to see? The darkness lasted about 4 minutes and 28 seconds. That's actually almost twice as long as it was during the U.S. coast-to-coast eclipse 7 years ago because the moon is closer to the Earth. It will be another 21 years before the U.S. sees another total solar eclipse on this scale.
And today, the buzz around the eclipse did not disappoint here in town.
Earlier this afternoon, News 19 watched with hundreds at the Melton Observatory on USC's campus as South Carolina saw 77% totality of the sun covered by the moon for roughly 3.5 minutes.
Our Cassidy Byer was there and has the details.
And anything, and I really like space, so anything like this is really, really cool to me.
We're so excited. We've been looking forward to it, actually. Yeah.
USC students and other visitors were treated to an awe-inspiring partial eclipse at the Melton Observatory on USC's campus. 2,422 days following the last total eclipse South Carolina witnessed in 2017.
I do remember that like it was yesterday. My mom brought home glasses because I remember my school ended up being off that day. So she brought home glasses. I remember I went to the backyard and watched it from the grass.
The eclipse, which started around midday, drew a line of enthusiastic visitors to the Melton Observatory, where they were able to witness the rare astronomical event as the moon passed between the sun and the Earth.
I'm giving them a safe view of the eclipse through the telescope.
Andrew Levy is the observatory coordinator for the astronomy club here at USC, but today he's showing observatory visitors the beauty of the eclipse.
You should be able to see it's a big circle, but like a little dent in the bottom left.
Andrew directs visitors to the C8 telescope, one of 3 the observatory has.
It's safe because there's a solar filter on here, which blocks out a lot of light, except for a small amount that the sun's emitting. And you're really seeing the shadow of the moon, so not dangerous.
Watching the eclipse did not have to solely involve looking into the sky. Rather, looking at its reflection through what's called a sunspotter is just as extraordinary, according to astronomy club member Evelyn Kreider.
You have to line it up so that the sun shines in through this hole and these 2 little holes, which you then line up the spots of light with these rings here. And the light then reflects off a couple mirrors in here onto the page so you can see the sun and any shadows that appear on it. So so the big shadow currently is the moon, obviously, and also there's smaller ones which are sunspots.
It's pretty significant. We don't have a lot of eclipses that come through America. The next one's going to be in like 2044, I believe. So yeah, to be able to see it, especially here with all the technology we have here, it's pretty nice.
Reporting from Columbia, Cassidy Byer, News 19 WLTX.
So cool. So cool. The Midlands reached roughly 80% totality around 3:10 this afternoon. And the next time we're going to be able to witness an eclipse will be 2044. I'm hoping that my vision will be good enough in 2044 that I'll be able to see it.
However, the most spectacular one will be in 2078 right here.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to see that one.
I asked Jim if he was going to come to work that day, and he said maybe. So this is what's wild. The 3 of us were all together way back in 2017 when we had a total eclipse here in the Midlands. So let's look back at what it looked like. News 19 was live on air across the Midlands. If you remember, we had people in Newberry that they were with NASA officials. We had people at the state fairgrounds, which is where this shot is, over the state fairgrounds. And we had there was a massive viewing event there, and then Darcy and I were set up in the front lawn of WLTX on Garner's Ferry Road when, unfortunately, right before we had our families out because the kids were off school.
They're so little.
And wait for it, this is my picture, y'all, of the total eclipse from 2017 because, as Darcy will remember, it rained just over southeast part of Columbia.
Nobody else had rain. It was like a dark cloud just decided that it just wanted to.
Just right here.
Yeah.
Right here. But let's go to our next video now because our next video is South Carolina's weatherman Jim Gandy in this moment.
Yeah. Jim, what were you thinking?
Oh my goodness, it was a moving experience. And being at the zoo was incredible because of the reaction of the animals.
Right.
And in fact, it was being studied. And we weren't sure what to expect. And then we were set up near the sea lions, and they just went crazy.
When the lights went out.
Yeah.
And you were a NASA expert. To anybody who doesn't remember that in 2017, tell us what that means.
Well, I was a content expert. Well, because the eclipse was occurring across the country in different communities, they had content experts. And I applied for it, and they appointed me
You
as
got
a
chosen.
content. Yeah, so.
And so then what was the comparison you were doing outside today with the shadows?
Well, you know, one of the things that I saw back in 2017 were the shadows like this. They become very crisp right before totality. So I was looking for the same thing. I wasn't sure that we were going to be able to see it. We did, but there was also something else. This was today. Notice the shadows there in the form of a crescent. I went outside near the height of our partial eclipse and ran out there, found some trees, the crepe myrtles outside, and I looked at the shadows on the pavement, and there they were, the crescents.
Wow.
So you didn't have to be in totality to see phenomena.
That's wild.
It is.
I think the thing that I remember the most from 2017 is how you talked about the science of it. And the same science that allowed this to happen and for us to predict it is the same type of science you use every day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was an amazing time. This was amazing too, even though we weren't in totality.
Right. It was close.
And obviously, the weather was better.